Hey you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss. This is my review for Naruto chapter 650. Now, it's pretty clear that this review is kind of late. I said I would have it out by Wednesday, but I was busier than I thought I'd be. I had an exam on Monday, another one on Tuesday, another one on Wednesday, and then a paper that was due today. So I was kind of busier than I thought I'd be. I thought I'd have everything done, but that just wasn't the case. But I'm doing it now, so and my other reviews should be out earlier just because I won't be this busy again for a while. But yeah, with all that said, let's get into the chapter. Um, it was pretty simple. I mean, it started off with all the different villages, fire, stone, sand, like all the different villages. They're starting to fight back now. Even the samurais started fighting back as well. With Fune, he cut down a couple branches. Um, Toby Rama started to talk to Minato and said that he wanted to take advantage of the fact that Minato and Naruto's chakra is mixed together, and the fact that everyone has it. So he's going to be using his body flicker technique to teleport them away whenever they get into danger, which he did do later on in the chapter. Then we see Orochimaru and Hiruzen Sarutobi. Those two are talking. Orochimaru says that he's gonna get involved in the war now because Obito wants to. What Obito wants is going to stop him from continuing his experiments, and he can't have that. So Orochimaru's in the war now. He uses the power of the snake to hold back a couple branches. Obito sees all this stuff happening. The tree starts to grow and form these wood dragon things, not exactly the same as Hashirama's, but pretty close to it. Um, they start going after all the fodder shinobi. We see Tsunade and Sakura. They say that they're going to use the Byakugo seal in order to summon 1/10 of Katsuyu's body from the forest, which I'm assuming is just the slug version of Mount Miyaboku. And that was actually kind of interesting because you'd think that two people combined, both of them with the Byakugo seal activated, would be able to summon more than 1/10 of her body. I mean, I know they're tired, but you'd think they'd be able to do more than that. So that got me thinking, what if Katsuyu is just really, really, really big? Like, you know how, like, I mean, obviously she's big. She's a summoning animal, but I mean, like, bigger than we think. Like, you know how she can separate her body into smaller pieces? What if normally, without the seal activated, when they summon her normally, they don't actually summon her body, they only summon a portion of her body. So whenever we see that big Katsuyu that gets summoned, that's really only a small portion of her body. And now they're summoning 1/10 of her body, which is probably bigger than the last versions of her that they've summoned. But it's not really that important, though. They summon her, she starts to liquefy and spread herself throughout the battlefield. That way the shinobi are literally fighting on top of her. They're always in contact with her, and whenever they get injured, they'll be healed right there on the spot. Either that or Toby Rama will save them with the body flicker technique. So I mean, it's okay. I mean, there's nothing inherently bad about that. It's a war. They're fighting back. They're finding ways to fight back when they didn't think there were any. So that's good for them. Obito is still dominating them, though. I mean, it's not like they have a chance of winning unless Naruto and Sasuke do something. They tried to do something later on, like a couple pages later. Didn't really work out too well. Obito used the Yin Yang release, which is those black orbs, the combination of all five changes in chakra nature. He used that to stop their attacks, and then he kind of took them and reformed them into big hands and arms, and then he grabbed them and held them in place so that they couldn't escape, they couldn't attack or anything. And then right after this is, everything before that was okay, cool, nothing inherently bad, nothing really good either. But this is where things kind of started to change. We see Kakashi and he begins talking. And pretty much the gist of what he's saying is that he thinks Obito is going to get talking to Jutsu. And I'm not really a big fan of this part. I'm not a fan of the idea of Obito being talking to Jutsu. He's one of the two main villains in the series. I think it's kind of disrespectful for an author to treat their villain that way. The least he can do is let Obito... I mean, obviously, he's a villain. It's shonen. He's going to lose in the end. That much is obvious. It's the same in every shonen. Not every, but most shonen. You know, the villains always lose in the end. Good guys always win in the end. And Obito is going to lose too, because he's a villain. But the least you could do is have him lose in a legitimate way and not be talking to Jutsu. So, I mean, I know there aren't many villains in Naruto who are just inherently evil. And Obito isn't either. Almost every villain in Naruto has a reason for what they're doing that could be considered good. It's just that they're going about it a different way than Naruto would, or Jiraiya, or Minato. So, you know, I just think I understand that he wants to try to make Obito look not inherently evil, but to make him to have him get talking to Jutsu and then just turn good. I don't like that either. I think it's best for him to just lose in a legitimate way, hold on to his beliefs till the end, and let that be that. But with what Kakashi's saying, it seems pretty obvious at this point that's not what Kishi wants to do. He wants to have Obito be talking to Jutsu. I mean, maybe he's hopeful. I mean, I would love for him to be saying this just to make us think he's going to get talking to Jutsu, then have the exact opposite happen, just to, you know, take advantage of the element of surprise. And if that happens, that would be great. But the chances aren't very high. So that scene was not very good. It was the worst scene in the chapter, actually. But it was kind of... the scene after that made up for it a little bit. We have Obito. He's still holding on to Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto and Sasuke are still, you know, in Obito's clutches. And he jumps all the way down from the top of the tree, or at least near the top. And he just brings his arm back, and he does like a Luffy-style gum bazooka. And he slams them all the way down into the ground. And there's this huge dust cloud. A bunch of fodder shinobi got blown away, so you know that was high impact. Susanoo gets deactivated. QB mode gets deactivated. Things were looked at. That was one of the best parts of the chapter. And the other good part of the chapter is at the end, obviously, when Naruto and Sasuke combine QB mode and Susanoo like Madara did back in the flashback, which was surprising because, I mean, obviously we knew it was possible because Madara did it, but it's not really something you would expect. You wouldn't expect Sasuke to be willing to become one with Naruto, for all you Naruto fans out there. But it was pretty good. Before that, Obito starts to talk after Naruto and Sasuke start to get back up after being bazookaed down to the ground. Obito begins to talk, and this is something that everyone finds annoying by now, Obito talking. However, I don't really choose to think of it that way. What people have to realize is that Obito has activated Infinite Tsukuyomi. It's done. He's done. He's won already. All he has to do is wait for Infinite Tsukuyomi to actually take effect. Okay, so once that happens, then it's like, right now it's like a 99%, he's 99% sure victory, but once that happens, it's 100% guaranteed. So he's already accomplished his goal. It's just a matter of time now. All he has to do is waste time, and that's what he's doing whenever he opens his mouth and starts talking. Like I said in the title, it's strategic stalling. You might not like what he's saying. You might not like how often he says it, but it's smart that he's saying it as often as he's saying it. The longer he talks, the more time gets wasted. The more time gets wasted, the closer Infinite Tsukuyomi comes to activating and taking effect. So that's not a bad part of the chapter. It's actually good. So combine that with Naruto and Sasuke's Susanoo armored Kurama and the Gum Gum Bazooka. Those were the best parts of the chapter, hands down. It was pretty good. But then the other stuff kind of brought it down, so overall, I'll say it was a cool chapter. So I'll give this chapter of Naruto a rating of 7 out of 10. I'll have my Bleach and One Piece reviews up pretty much the same time as this. Later, I might do my Hunter x Hunter review. And I'll also be doing a reaction video to the first episode of Unbreakable Machine Doll. The way things are looking now, I was going to review it since I read the manga adaptation, but the way things are looking now, I'm probably not going to review it. I was kind of disappointed, but I'll get into that in more detail in the video. So that's it for now. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.